What's up, y'all? It's day 4. Yeah, it's day 4 of me recording these vlogs or these videos, whatever, for 365 days. Today, I thought I didn't have nothing to record. Not really, because we got a pretty action-packed day, actually. But today, I decided to record a little bit about, my experience being homeless. So, not really being homeless, but my experience with life as it is right now. So for the past, I would say, week, I've been living without lights and water. And a lot of people, it's normal for a lot of people's lights and water to go out, and especially where we're from, black people. It's not to be stereotypical, but we don't got shit. Like, we don't have a lot of shit. And it's always it's common to see, the rent person come around, a person come turn off the water meter, people turn off the lights because you missed a payment or a couple payments or whatever. But yeah, I've been living without lights and water for like a week. And I want to talk about how that's strategically helping me in a way. About a year ago, me and my wife, we decided to set out on this journey where we cut all the bills. We cut all the bills and we start fresh, or minimize as many bills as possible, which required us to move out. It required us to, essentially be homeless. We left our apartment. We ended up moving into an Airbnb. We stayed in the Airbnb. We put all our stuff in storage. And by the way, all this stuff is going to be documented on our couples channel. We have a couples channel, and I'll link it in this video. But yeah, we moved into the Airbnb, put all of our stuff in storage, and started fresh. We had our phone bills, we had our car payments, and we had what else? You had a very minimal amount of bills. So, we do gig work, so our jobs allow us to work from wherever we're at. We had 2 cars at the time. One of them which has gotten repossessed since then, which was all in repossessed. We turned it over because we were trying to minimize, but we needed the car as long as possible. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, we definitely used it for what we could. But yeah, we did that, and it was a very eye-opening journey. Very, I wouldn't say life-changing. I would say life-changing, because if you do it with the right intentions, it definitely is life-changing. And if you do it with good faith, it's life-changing. You don't go in with a negative attitude. So we essentially left everything behind. People too. We had to leave people behind too. People really wouldn't get the concept. A lot of people can't understand the reasoning behind leaving these things. They're like, you got an apartment, you got this, you got that. But in reality, they don't understand, we waking up every day to fight for these things, and it's not making sense. So for anybody that feels like that, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out here that feel like the things that they have don't even make sense for them to have, like us. It didn't make sense to us that we had an apartment or in 2 cars, and we're not happy. That was the biggest thing. We weren't even in a happy state. I was around so many influences. I'm not gonna say bad influences. I'm not gonna say all the influences were bad, but I'll say being around so many influences, you start to lose your own decision-making process. So that happened. Like I said, we left everything. Stayed in the Airbnb first. Then we went to a hotel in Jacksonville. So we were actually going all over the state. So we were hopping, and we got to Jacksonville. Stayed in the worst fucking hotel that we could find, not on purpose, but the websites make them look good. It was moldy as hell. In-town suites. Please don't ever get a hotel room at In-Town Suites. I think that's the name. Yeah, in-town suites, extended stays or whatever. Please do not ever stay in those rooms. Shadow ban me for it. I don't care. Those are the worst hotels ever. Mold everywhere. The rooms were not cleaned at all. Uh, yeah, bad experience overall. So we stayed there for about a week or so. You know, we worked like we would regularly work, but we're not paying as many bills. We're paying cheaper to stay somewhere for a week, and after a week in the hotel, we decided we looked on Airbnb. We were actually looking for another Airbnb again, but I found a campsite, and I was like, wow. And the campsite was like $8 a night, and I was like, $8 a night. We could stay there for like a month for like one something, or 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks was like one something with electricity. Like they give you a power extension cord from the main house, and there's like a big ass piece of land, and people was out there camping. And I was like, we could go buy a tent with the money we're making, stay in a tent, buy a heater, buy a fan, and a couple extension cords, and we're good to go. Because the hotel room itself was so moldy, I couldn't breathe like in there. Like as soon as I walked in the room, I couldn't breathe, bro. Like I could not breathe. I have really bad allergies, and if I get a hint of something that's moldy or messed up, I can't. It messes with my sinuses really bad. So I was like, boom, we're gonna go in a tent. Went to Walmart, spent about 300 something on a tent, and it was a nice tent. It had lights, power outlets. It had 2 rooms. It had windows. Like it was a nice ass tent. I've sold it since then, but it's a really nice ass tent. I'm gonna actually get another one. But yeah, it was a nice ass tent. We stayed in the tent, had an air mattress, and it was actually really peaceful. It was a really peaceful time. That's one of the most eye-opening experiences I've ever had, was living in the tent. And we were just doing it to set ourselves up for a better future, so that we're not behind on anything, so that we're just ultimately trying to make the best decisions possible and make them on our own time. Because being that we have to pay rent, we gotta pay lights, we gotta pay water, we gotta pay everything. Like all these things start making decisions for you. You start doing things because you got to pay lights, you got to pay water, you gotta pay rent, you gotta do all these things. And sometimes you need a break from that shit. So that break really propelled us forward in a lot of ways. Now, how did we end up living without lights and water right now? Basically the same thing. We got into a place because as a man, I'm not gonna leave my family in a tent for like an extended period of time. So we had like a month. We had a couple weeks to a month there, and I was like, okay, we gotta get into a place, because I can't do this with my family for an extended period of time. Had it just been me and my spouse ourselves, we would have been there. We probably still would have been there and documented, and it would have been a great outcome for us. Not that it was a bad outcome for us, but because of us having a family, we needed some type of platform. I needed some type of platform to leverage for me to be able to go out and work, and my spouse to be able to stay home with our son sometimes, or me to be able to stay home with him while she works, and other things like that. And so we ended up moving into a house that, crazy enough, the lady that we subleased our apartment to owned, and she rented it out to us. But the condition of the house is the problem. And at the time, we weren't thinking about the condition of the house, how it would affect us in the future. Like, meaning right now, like, broken sinks, rats, cockroach infestation, hoarding. Like, there's a lot of issues going on. So it ultimately sent us back into the cycle of now we're starting to do things because what's going on around us, which I'm not a fan of. My wife's not a fan of. And I think, I always want better for my family. So how I ended up living without lights and water, we're just going back on the reset. And, we got a couple things in plans, but it's something that you got to do. I think it's something that a lot of people could benefit from and propel themselves so much further in life. And, I can make a more detailed video explaining exactly how everything works out and how everything's going. Like, I'm still here. Like, I'm clean. I look good. I might not look the best, but, I'm still doing my thing. We're still doing our thing. We're still able to go out, make our money, have fun, eat, and we got candles like you see in the video. It's really it's a different lifestyle. But these things are privilege in America, like lights, water. There's a lot of people in different countries, and I don't like to bring that shit up either, because that's a whole thing. But there's a lot of people that are living in 2022 without lights, and they ain't never lived with lights, and they're still here. They're still people. They're still fully functional human beings. So that's the type of person I am. I look at the whole spectrum of things, and I really ask myself questions, and yeah. So that's why I'm living, or that's partially, I don't know if I explained it all enough for people to understand, but that's the partial reason why I'm living without lights and water. Any questions, any concerns, any whatever, you can always message, leave a comment, however you feel. But I'm doing great. We're doing great. We're about to have a great day. And yeah, next video.